Ubuntu started out with the aim of creating an easy-to-use Linux desktop, and while it has certainly achieved that goal, several other Linux distributions have since come along and surpassed it, with easy-to-use features and greater flexibility. In this video, I'll be giving you a quick overview of 5 alternative Linux distributions to Ubuntu. Ubuntu MATE is a derivative of Ubuntu and very reminiscent of the GNOME Classic Desktop from 2010. Don't be put off by the older style or green theme. Ubuntu MATE has one of the finest welcome screens to get you started with the operating system. There are quick links for driver installer, getting started, additional help from the community, and a link to the Ubuntu MATE shop. There is also a basic software installer called Software Boutique, which provides quick links for common applications that you might like to have. They're grouped into various categories, and the boutique is very easy to browse. There is quite a large range of free open source applications available in Linux. If you don't like the default desktop style, you can easily change between alternate styles, a Windows XP theme, a Mac OS theme, and a Unity theme. As I mentioned, the default style looks like GNOME Classic. This is the Windows-like style with the taskbar at the bottom of the screen and a start menu. This is the Apple Mac OS style with a launcher at the bottom of the screen and a start menu in the top left-hand side. And finally, this is the Unity-like style with a launcher on the left-hand side, but there is no dash like Ubuntu Unity has. You can change the compositing options in Ubuntu MATE and choose between a software or hardware renderer. You can also enable the Composite renderer and have lovely effects like the desktop cube. Different options in MATE are ideal if you have an older system. For example, a computer that originally came with Windows XP will be capable of running Ubuntu MATE. The selection of pre-installed applications is reasonable enough with LibreOffice, Firefox web browser, VLC media player, and Rhythmbox music player. You will have to install the patent-encumbered multimedia codecs separately with the Ubuntu Restricted Extras package in order to play MP3 files. Support time for Ubuntu MATE is the same as Ubuntu, with long-term support releases once every 2 years, which are supported for 5 years, and interim releases once every 6 months, which are supported for 9 months. My second recommendation is Zorin OS. Now, Zorin comes in 2 flavours, Ultimate and Core. Zorin OS Ultimate costs €19 and the Core version is free. Zorin OS Ultimate comes preloaded with a large range of applications, more choice on desktop styles, the option to have video wallpapers, and premium support. It is a lot easier to use native Linux applications that could be a like-for-like alternative to Windows applications that you have been used to. And the large selection of applications that come pre-installed on Zorin Ultimate gives you an idea of what free open source software in Linux is capable of. A party piece of Zorin is the Look switcher that allows you to choose from 6 distinct desktop styles, including Windows 7, Windows XP, and Mac OS. This is the default Windows 7 style with a start menu and iconified applications in the taskbar. The XP style is very similar, but has an application icon and the application title in the taskbar. This is my favourite desktop style, a Unity-like view, with a launcher on the left-hand side and a dash-style view of the applications. And the last view I'll show you is a Mac OS style with a panel of currently open applications at the bottom and a start menu on the top left-hand side. There are also a large range of themes included with both light and dark variants, which allows you to easily customize the look of your shiny new desktop and get the style which you have been used to. My third recommendation is SolydXK. SolydXK comes in 2 variants, SolidX, which comes with the lightweight XFCE desktop, and the heavier SolidK, which comes with the more customizable KDE desktop. At first glance, the 2 systems are styled very similar, but it is the KDE variant SolidK which I am focusing on here. Like Ubuntu MATE, you get a welcome screen, albeit with a few less features, but nonetheless a very capable tool and useful feature for new users. SolidK is based on Debian and is a rolling release Linux distribution, meaning that your operating system will remain up to date throughout the life of your computer. This is a complete contrast to Ubuntu, which will need to be reinstalled in order to remain up to date. You get what you're given on the KDE desktop. There is no easy switcher like Ubuntu MATE and Zorin have. The basic desktop style is perfectly usable, although if you don't like it, it is easily customizable and you can download new widgets and themes. I will point out that it uses the older KDE 4 desktop, whereas in most of my videos you will see me using the newer KDE 5 Plasma desktop in KDE Neon, but KDE Neon is not a distro I recommend for new users. The selection of applications included in SolydXK is reasonable enough to get you started. Now, unlike Ubuntu MATE and Zorin, SolydXK comes with a wider range of utilities. For example, ClamTK antivirus scanner, GTK hash, a hash checking tool, Lucky Backup synchronization tool, and a Synaptics touchpad manager for laptops. Now, as a side note, SolydXK still holds a place in my heart because it was my first move away from Ubuntu. My fourth recommendation is Linux Mint Cinnamon. Linux Mint seems to be a well-recommended distro for new users, although I was always more reserved on that judgment. However, the Cinnamon desktop has progressed a huge amount now in the last couple of years and comes with a wide range of customization features and the option to add widgets to the desktop in the form of desklets. A very useful under-the-hood feature of Mint is the ability to recognise a wider range of hardware devices such as Wi-Fi adapters. Perhaps if you have tried Linux in the past and had issues with a certain item of hardware, you might find that Linux Mint is able to recognise it. Although the ability to recognise a wider range of hardware comes at the expense of speed, something which experienced Arch users will be quick to mock. The range of applications included pre-installed is sufficient. You get LibreOffice, Firefox web browser, GIMP image editor, and VLC media player. There is a basic parental control application included in Mint in the form of a domain blocker, which can be used to prevent young children from visiting certain websites. One issue I'm going to bring up is my opinion on the way that Mint withholds what they consider risky updates that have a small chance of causing a driver failure. Mint lean on the side of keeping your system working and leaving it exposed to an increased security risk, but you can change that option in the system updater to install all updates, which mitigates the security risk. The fifth distribution I would recommend is Manjaro Linux. Now that may come as a bit of a surprise to my regular subscribers because I traditionally focus on Debian or Ubuntu Linux systems. And Manjaro is completely different as it is based on Arch Linux. Now, Arch is definitely not for new users, as you have to spend a lot of time reading the manual, RTFM. And Manjaro has successfully made installing Arch as easy as Ubuntu. Manjaro comes in a few different desktop flavours. I am focusing on the XFCE variant here. I rather like the theming they have done with the green, white and black colour scheme. They have made a lightweight desktop appear nice and modern. The hardware recognition in Manjaro is very good. Unlike any of the previously mentioned distros, Manjaro has a kernel switcher, which means you can easily use the newest Linux kernel, which is ideal if you have any brand new hardware. Although to be fair to the Linux kernel, I have used one from 2012 in a system built in 2015, and it did work, albeit with a few warning messages and not as fast as more appropriate newer software would have been. The selection of pre-installed applications is a bit larger than Ubuntu MATE, SolydXK and Mint. As usual, we have LibreOffice, Firefox and VLC. But Manjaro have also included GIMP image editor and Steam for gaming. Manjaro is lightweight enough to be used on older systems, but with the kernel switcher, you can also use it on brand new systems. It is certainly a system to consider if you would like something different to Ubuntu or Debian. And that concludes the look at 5 alternative systems to Ubuntu for new users. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to my channel and give it a thumbs up. But if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. And thanks for watching. See you all later.